Hi, and thank you for joining me today. I just want to say that I'm kind of excited because AC and I have begun editing Book 8 of the Walkerville Desire series called Reflections, and I'll be reading excerpts from this in a few weeks. So at this time, I have a total of 10 books envisioned for this series. I have some ideas for other characters in Walkerville who've been mentioned but who've not previously gotten their own book. The holiday novellas are an example of, some characters that are in the background but have come to the foreground. And I actually have 3 short stories for one of the reoccurring characters. And B shows up again in book 9. I'm just not quite sure how we're going to get these to the readers, the whole short story piece. As many of you know, book genres are sometimes written in a series with main characters being introduced and who continue being that person throughout the series. Those of you who are familiar with the romance genre know that often a writer will write a series of books. I just finished reading the 9th Outlander book, which all of us friends actually waited 4 years to read. It was great. Go Tell It to the Bees by Diana Gabaldon. Now, to be fair, besides romance, the Outlander series has also been touted as time travel, historical, and mystery. Another series, one which falls more easily into the traditional romance category and which I love, is Hannah Reid's Scottish Highlander series. I've just ordered her 4th book. In a series, the author may introduce 1 or 2 main characters in the first book, and while those characters may appear in the arc of the series, other main characters are introduced along the way. Patience Griffin in her Kilts and Quilts series does just that. And I do too. In the first book of the Walkerville series, Return, we met Frances Perdue, Fiona Montrose, and Martha Janine Montrose. They're important characters in several Walkerville books, and they appear in the background of many of the stories. So the book that we're working on now, Book 8, Reflections, has 2 romance plots, and one of them involves Jenny Perdue Detweiler, who you met in Book 1. She's Frances's older sister. So in Book 8, she's going through some life changes and doing a lot of reflection. Frances and Fiona appear in this book. Frances has always been a really special character to me. When I first started writing this series, and that was back in 2017, I had no idea what I was doing. 3 characters showed up, complete with names and personalities: Martha Janine, Fiona, and Frances. Of the 3, Frances has always spoken to me with a calm heart. He's kind and generous and loves his family. He's handsome and capable, and he's had 2 successful careers. His priority are families and friends. When I was thinking about this week's chat, I came across this quote from Simone Weil, a French philosopher, mystic, political activist who died of cardiac failure due to complications of tuberculosis and a possible eating disorder in 1943 at age 34. She said, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." I thought of Frances when I read this. This is Frances, a man with a lot of emotional intelligence. So let's unpack this. Let's take this word by word. First, attention. It means courtesy, care, thoughtfulness. Rarest, scarcest, purest, clearest, completest. Generosity, kindness. So this quote, we can play around with the words and come up with thoughtfulness is the scarcest and completest form of kindness. And in a world where there's so much turmoil, disease, uncertainty, and vulnerability, I'm always touched to meet someone who is kind. Kind is different than being nice. Somebody who's nice is correct. They're agreeable. They're good. Kind is generous, compassionate, humane. In my Walkerville series, my characters are supportive. They're part of their community. They want to be capable partners, and they're not so proud to seek help or advice. Even if it means being uncomfortable and perhaps they alone, they feel stretched beyond their capabilities and their capacity, so they're willing to, ask. I feel that in the Walkerville Desire series, many of the characters come to the pages bearing secrets that bring shame and pain, or perhaps they feel incapable of fulfilling their heart's longing. Inevitably, they meet someone in Walkerville who understands that attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. They realize that thoughtfulness is the scarcest and completest form of kindness. These encounters are the crux of living in Walkerville. In a world with so much trauma, conflict, and uncertainty, Walkerville is populated with kind people. This allows others to open up, to take risks, to become who they've always wanted to be. And wouldn't it be great if we lived in that kind of a world in real life? So that's it. But before we move on, I need to ask for your help. As we work on getting Book 8 ready for the presses, we need you. We've talked in the past about what's commonly called beta readers. These wonderful people are a vital step in the process of completing a book for most writers, myself included. The only requirement to be a beta reader is that you read books, any kind of books. One of my current beta readers doesn't read romances, and she always gives invaluable feedback. They perform a role similar to beta testers in the software world or preview audiences for a film industry. I had a friend who did preview movies all the time down in LA. She loved it. Once the creative work is done, it's important to have a few members of the general public take an early look and give us honest feedback about whether things worked, and if they didn't, why not? Did we fail to describe or explain something clearly? Did we inadvertently goof up a sequence of events? One of my beta readers asked why person A was driving a truck in the first chapter and a Jeep in another chapter. Another asked why Francis had blue eyes in one chapter and gray eyes in the other. And believe it or not, these things do happen. Up to this point, I've relied on 3 or 4 good friends to go through my manuscripts and give me their feedback. These women have been wonderful, and I'm forever grateful to them. But we want to build our bench, as they say in sports. AC is working to build up a roster of people willing to help out with this. His vision is to be able to rotate different readers in and out with each project, so that we are always asking fresh eyes to give us their reflections and thoughts. We'll speak more of this in the future weeks. It's going to be a little while yet before Book 8 is ready to be seen by anyone outside this office. But if this sounds like something you might be interested, it's not too early to raise your hand. Just drop us a quick note and a private message with your name, contact information, and the fact that you're interested in being a beta reader. Say that fast 3 times. Beta reader, beta reader, beta reader. So you can leave a comment here, shoot me a message in Instagram or Facebook, or send me an email. All the information is down below in the description. Meanwhile, it's planned to get together here next week, Wednesday, and thanks for sharing your time with me. But remember, If you know someone who you think might like to be part of this, please pass on my YouTube links. I appreciate the chance to continue to connecting with you, and now let's invite some more folks to join the conversation. And of course, new readers are always welcome as well. Far better than any advertising, it's a personal recommendation. So let your friends know what you're reading and what that they might enjoy. There's a wealth of information in the description just below me here. To start, remember that YouTube counts everything. So it means a lot if you give us a thumbs up, and it's really helpful if you subscribe to my channel by clicking that big red button. If you have questions or comments, look for links to my Facebook and Instagram and my email address. You'll also find the address of my Amazon page for all the Walkerville books are available to purchase in both Kindle and print editions. And the direct link for next Wednesday's live chat is there as well. See you then, and thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you guys.